Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach and welcome to the weekend preview. The teams are out. There's a little bit of concern. One we expected, one was probably half a chance. And obviously, Coniglio is out, which we knew was going to happen early in the week. But also Fife is out. I think an infection in the elbow. I'm not exactly sure on how many weeks he'll miss. It doesn't sound too serious, but I also haven't done too much research into it, but otherwise pretty reasonable by the looks of things. Dursman's back, if that helps anyone out there. Darcy Moore is out, but most people probably would have got rid of him. And I think obviously we've got a few Sunday teams to roll through. There's a few players getting named, a few guys at St Kilda. These are extended benches and West Coast and those types of things. So there's a few options if we do need to downgrade or find some cash cows, but I think most people will probably be down to about 2 to 5 trades. I mean, I know I'll be down to 2 after this weekend's efforts, so it's getting pretty tight. I was hoping to have 4 emergency trades left, but I've had to use 2 emergency trades already on Daniel and now Coniglio. So that hasn't gone to plan. Yes, I'm cutting it fine, but I think I'm just going to go for it. If I cop 2 serious injuries in the last 5 weeks, okay, I'll be able to cover it. If I cop 3 or 4, it's a bit unlucky. I mean, I haven't copped too many for the whole season. Last, 4 weeks I've copped 2. Hopefully that trend stops. But just before we get into the options of Coniglio and his replacement, just a shout out to my roommate Bronte. She's been banging on about getting a shout out for most of the year, so I thought I'd give you one. So there you go, Bronte. But not that you follow footy much at all, but I thought I'd finally get around to that. But options for Coniglio. Now, as I discussed a bit in my press conference, I pretty much got it down to Zach Merritt, Ben Cunnington, and Tim Taranto. And I did a bit more looking around and I didn't see anything else that really tickled my fancy. Now, I think they were the guys that were obviously cheaper than Coniglio. Some people might be able to go up from him, which makes life a lot easier. I think, the likes of Treloar, Bontempelli, and if you need to go up to 600k, that there's always options up there of some of the guys that you probably should already have, but sometimes there might be one that you don't. Oliver, he's looking reasonable in the back end of the season, despite a not so good score on the weekend. But where did I land? I landed firmly with Zach Merritt. I think I was on board Zach Merritt at the start of the week, but I got some reassurance from Joshy Garlick, which was great. He is a very avid Bombers fan and flicked me over some numbers, and they were pretty compelling. And that was good to see because no one knows their team quite like the supporters. And that was just good to see that, he's got really good records against some of the clubs in the last few rounds and that sort of thing. And I really like the look of it. Other reasons for me, I think Zach Merritt, I know he's got the best capability in terms of numbers and going big. He's had averages of 109, 111 before. And I think last year, if you take out that really low score with concussion, I think he averaged about 103, 104. He's again averaging, I think, career high numbers. And he's looked pretty good this year without being up towards the 110. He's around 106. Why do I say that? Because I feel as if Ben Cunnington's having a career best season, particularly in SuperCoach numbers. So I feel as if the fact that he's starting to get a bit of attention, maybe we've just seen his best form in terms of SuperCoach for his entire career. And yes, Higgins is back, but I feel like that tag has been applied to Cunnington, and as soon as you start to struggle, then that could come more often. And we might just see him sort of progress back to or regress to high 90 averages. I just feel like Merritt probably has a gear to go. Cunnington's probably been absolutely peaking. He's been hitting his top averages and top scores that he's ever done before, where Merritt probably has some scope. He's having a good season. His last 6 or 7 weeks haven't been his best, but he can get up to that big time scores. And I just like him as a player. You guys, I'm a big fan of him. I love his left foot boot, and he's a tackling machine. And I really do feel like Heppel will help him. Higgins will help Cunnington as well. You could mount the same argument. Merritt can also get tagged, but I'm just going to back him in. Taranto, yes, he's going to get plenty of opportunities through the middle because Kelly's out and Coniglio and obviously Ward and that. I'm just a little wary. The first big season, real breakout, plenty of time in the middle. He's still a young man. I'm not saying he will, but there's a chance that he could taper off. That's my only concern. It may or may not happen, but I'm going with what's reliable. And often we get comfort from what we've seen before. And I've seen really good numbers from Merritt before, and he's done it consistently. And I'm going to back him in to do it. Finals on the line for all three teams, but I really like Zach Merritt, so I'm backing him in. In terms of Fife, look into it as to how long he's out for, but I'd be holding him almost no matter what, unless it's a 3-weeker, which I don't think an infection in the elbow or anything like that is going to be too bad. I'm not sure how much it was related to last week. I didn't see why he went off. It probably is related. I didn't catch a stack of footy last week, and I had a little bit on, but yeah, so that's probably my thoughts. And otherwise, I think Coniglio's a pressing issue. Most of you guys, if you're not trading, you'll know what you're doing already because it's so specific to your current team. As I said, there's some new players rocking up and getting games, but just try and get some bench coverage. Isaac Quainer, he's a guy in the back line who I think is going to play quite a bit of footy. He looks to be a solid option in terms of some coverage, and that can be really helpful. That's one thing I'm concerned at the moment. I don't have a stack of coverage, particularly up forward. So if something goes wrong, then you're in some strife. And yes, emergency trades are good, but if you're like me and you've had to use a few already and it gets to around 22, 23, you're all out of trades, a little bit of luck goes against you, you're going to want to hope that you just have someone just to add 50 or 60 points to your score. It can be really handy. But look, that's about all for this week for me. My trades, I'm going to bring in Dunkley for Setterfield, and as I said, Zach Merritt for Coniglio. So that's how I'll be rolling. I hope you have a good week and enjoy the footy. Cheers.